Absolutely. Actually, look, the minority had slept for too long. Yes, because the whole of last year, you know, apart from the Arise Ghana demonstration and the MI demonstration, the minority didn't do much. It was so painful. They looked like they had no balls. If now they are getting up, it's a bit, half a loaf is better than none. Yes.
You forgot about the Citizen Coalition.
Citizen Coalition, went to the Auditor General, and pushed and also got some traction there. We hope that the Auditor General will live to the billing. Good, yes. So what the minority is doing is what we have to do as citizens. Because look, Governor Addison has lost the plot. Now, he's very, very incompetent. Addison's problem is like the way Wampa was under their regime. Addison and Wampa will belong to one basket. Let me show you why this is something. As I've said, the building I support. Let's go into the mandate of this central bank. Price stabilization. Last year, at the end of last year, the inflation was at 54.1%. Hunger. So once inflation is gone through the roof, you've lost the plot. This year, the last 3 months, you see 42%, 43%. It's still not better. Even July, where we thought that, maybe some of the foodstuffs had started coming in, it should be better. It went up slightly, didn't it? So the point is that, and if you look, if you look at what Dr. Atia Kpebu is saying, it's laughable, very, very laughable that he's doing that. The reason is something. Look at the mandate of the central bank. Look, under Section 32 of Act 612, the Central Bank Act, it says that the central bank is advisor to government on fiscal matters. The central bank is advisor to government on fiscal matters. Let's read briefly. The bank shall advise government on the monetary transactions of the government and government agencies, right? And then the international and local contracts to which the government is a party and which relate to the object and functions of the bank. Come to the Constitution, Article 183, the functions of the central bank. 183, clause 2. I'm interested in C. It says, encourage and promote economic development and the efficient utilization of the resources of Ghana through effective and efficient operation of a banking and credit system in Ghana, and do all other things, blah, blah, blah. So you look at it, encourage and promote economic development through efficient utilization of the resources of Ghana through
effective and efficient operation of a banking and credit system.
This is the same central bank that took away licenses and did what? That operation, the collapse of the banks. Later, it turned out that with about 9 billion or so or less, we could have sustained these banks. In America, you hear too big to fail. When the crisis happened in 2008, Bears and Stein, my favorite, what do you call it? The investment banks. What did they do? Merrill Lynch. Yes, Merrill Lynch. I mean, when I was younger, I was hoping someday to work for Merrill Lynch. I mean, somehow, that kind of thing. They were all in trouble. They were saved. You came because of apparently political vindictiveness. You took licenses away. And caused big trouble. Today, the unemployment coming from the collapse of those banks, we are yet to finish counting. So you see that it had been a long time coming, that Addison is just not up to scratch. You were pulling licenses away when you could have sustained it. So if you look at it, please, advisor to government on fiscal matters. So the very fiscal matters. So this is a simple thing, something. Breaking it down. Governor Addison should have seen that, look, we brought Kpebu in to move from what? Taxation to production. So by the end of the first year, when Governor Addison didn't see rice farms producing perfumed rice that were important, he should have known there will be trouble someday. At the end of the first year, when he didn't see a revitalization of the poultry farms so that we were not going to be importing so much poultry, he should have known that there will be trouble.
They'll rather collapse it.
Excellent. At the end of the year, as he saw imports going, and under Article 184, he's supposed to be reporting to Parliament on this. He doesn't do. Honorable Adongo says that they invite him, he runs away. Honorable, when was the last time Addison came?
he rose and had serious issues with it because he thought, his mind was that monetary independence meant he was a bit insulated from Parliament.
I imagine.
We made it clear to him that award of contracts and all those things are not monetary policy.
Yes.
You ought to, but he seemed to appreciate our point.
So he has to go often. You compare to the US, Powell goes, the lawyer investment banker. Powell goes to Congress. He takes decisions, even Republicans. You know, they are even more divisive than we are, the Republicans and Democrats. Ours is a joke. They are more divisive, but you see them applauding. After COVID, the initiatives that Jerome Powell took, he got an applause from Congress. That, yes, that was it. You remember he was fighting with Trump. When Powell was fighting with Trump, Addison was busy agreeing with Akufo-Addo, an incompetent president. Then you know there'll be trouble. So in one sentence, as long as the structure of the economy was not changing, that structure that President Akufo-Addo said he would change within 18 months, it should have been clear to Governor Addison that this day would come. Because if you look, why have we been to the IMF on 17 occasions? Why have we been on 17 occasions? Because the structure wasn't changing. And Akufo-Addo came on the back of coming to change from what? Taxation to production, nuisance taxes. We were hailing in 2016. So look, Governor Addison has lost the plot. It means that, look, we pay so much for his foresight. But it turns out he has no foresight. That's why he has to step aside. You know, in law, it's not hindsight that we use. We use the foresight of a reasonable man. And you see that that's why we pay him. He couldn't see something. Look, let's repeat. As long as he didn't see local production of rice, oil, all those things that cause those problems for us every 3-4 years, he should have known that this day was coming. So, look, you know, one of the most laughable stories to read in the past 2 weeks is when you hear journalists write, and even Dr. Tia has repeated it, if the central bank hadn't paid, the economy would have collapsed. As if the central bank was insulated. When Section 32 is saying that he is the advisor to what? Government on fiscal matters. What did he do? And why didn't he leak it? That's why I say you keep comparing. You go to Jerome Powell and you see that this is a different thing. He was fighting Trump. Trump said, Powell is insane. Why is he allowing asset prices to go up, etc.? You know, but eventually, Powell's too tall. Of course, I'm not saying he doesn't have problems in the US. They have theirs. But we should know that the difference is that one, government has a lot of support system for the poor. But there is almost none. Look at the 2023 budget. When we're supposed to increase LIP beneficiaries for about 3.5 million citizens. What happened? In the media review, Oforiatta says 2024. Meanwhile, we are running V8 in Accra. Doesn't it occur to President Akufo-Addo that these V8s that they've bought, you remember when he came moratorium, now he's bought more. It doesn't occur to them. Then they must stop all the V8s, all the travels, cut them down, and feed the poor. So Governor Addison is a co-architect of our current economic hardship. He must take the fall.
You don't seem to consider the exogenous, shocks that the economy has suffered as a, result of the COVID and, as we say, Ukraine.
No, Sam. When you read a bit of economics, look, my first degree, I read banking and finance. So it's in the books. Look, it's cyclical. Economics, it's cyclical. Every 3-4 years, you have one problem or another. Ghana's economic history. It's either cocoa prices have dipped or gold has dipped, etc. So we've been used to this. I don't want to hear anything like, COVID is in a bigger scale. No. Listen, when President Akufo-Addo came, he said that he was coming to change the Gagisberg economy within 18 months. 1.5 years, 18 months. By the time COVID hit, we had double. And then let's not forget, by the end of 2019, the IMF World Bank report said that we were highly debt distressed. And we went and embraced it. What's Governor Addison saying? Sam, let's not even forget. The beginning of it, one thing he did in his speech that one of the answers he was answering was there an interview. I was shocked. I said, no, he will confuse secondary school students. When we say money printing, please, that is a term that has various meanings. It's not one. It can mean the actual printing of banknotes. It can also mean quantitative easing when government buys and so puts in more money. And then also you have the situation where apart from government also doing the buying the bonds, there are other ways you go about it when you lend, right? So it increases the supply of money. So when he said that, oh, they are not doing money printing, then you ask that, so they're lending to government, what is it? It's also money printing. Maybe you can say in this particular instance, we didn't do fiscal printing because fiscal printing of banknotes is just one meaning of money printing, but there are other forms. He said, we lend. So I said, you confuse secondary school students. No, because I know money printing and the rest. It's part of secondary school economics. Part of secondary school economics. So Governor Addison just can't. It's just like, as I said, for the building, may I repeat that, let's go slow on it. Let's ask more questions because the building is cheaper than even White Stanchart, EcoBank, the World Bank, all those buildings in that vicinity. Per unit cost, this one is cheaper than them. So although Bright is
the approved amount for the building in their books, 121.8 million US dollars. But the actual cost, by way of the,
price variations,
and the square meter cost, brings us to the 250 million US dollars. And he says at the time in 2019, they would not have taken this decision or made it a priority. But the facts show otherwise. By the 31st of August 2020, when the PPA approval was given, where were we? Where was the economy? Where were the signs not obvious what was coming upon us? Was the finance minister, Ken Oforiatta, not writing in the Wall Street? He was writing all over the place and warning African countries about what was going to happen?
No, you see, yes, so that particular statement, I think, Addison knows, that's why I say it's incompetent. I don't really get it. Because in COVID, didn't we continue building roads? Didn't we continue building hospitals, etc.? Right? Yes, so that one doesn't quite add up. And don't forget, by then they had signed contracts. We all know we don't like judgment debts, etc. So when he said that one, really, I find it difficult to go with him on it. Yeah? Maybe he can talk about from the 121 to the 222 million. That one, yes. But if it's the whole project there, I don't support him when he says with hindsight they wouldn't have done it. Did COVID mean that we're not building more roads, we're not building hospitals, we're not building schools? No, no. So it ties in that really, it looks like he's a bit, he's lost the plot.
How useful is the demonstration that the minority and the Arise Ghana mobilizing people to do on the 5th of September if they don't resign? It's obvious there's no, intention to resign because he says, look, actually cut us some slack but for what we did, this is what your economy would have gone into. What is the use of it?
Oh, very, very, very useful. Very useful. You know what? That reminds me, even when the colonial government, our people could demonstrate that the governor, the governor of Ghana, not the central bank, be removed. And then there would even be a counter demonstration. I think Alan Barnes, whilst there was one demonstration going on, is in Accra that he be removed, then another in Kumasi that we should stay. There's something about history. The point I want to emphasize is that two demonstrations, one saying that the governor be removed, the other one saying that, he should be retained. So it tells you our history. In a democracy, if people don't get up and do this, hey, the executive will take us for granted. Because everything was very obvious that Oforiatta is incompetent. He was just basically making money for Akufo-Addo and the rest of their family. And yet Addison just went along, served as a piggy bank. Look at it. They say be the advisor on fiscal matters. He should produce the advice he gave government. You see, that's what Governor Addison should have done. But now they should have leaked it. You see, the last time I showed, whilst we were away on vacation, I showed Evans a book, Condoleezza Rice, the National Security Advisor. He shows that in the US, the State Department, that's their foreign ministry. You come there, begin to do things that are inimical to the state. They just leak. New York Times, Wall Street Journal, etc. They will leak it to them. Then the citizens will fight. You remember Honorable Nko last year, when they got wind that the central bank had given 22 billion or so. They made noise. Hey, Addison Nko came and denied. Hey, no. You see, at the end of the day, it came out. It came out. So as for the demo, it's the right thing to do. Maybe Addison will capitulate, or Akufo-Addo himself will capitulate. That's the right thing to do.
Okay, interesting there. I have just one question for Bright Simmons because of our time, so that we can end the discussion on this subject here and have time to deal with the GENSA GMPC matter, as well as the limited voter registration that minority parties, in fact, almost all the parties are added them, that the EC's posture is not one that is tenable. And talking about demonstrations, tomorrow on my show on the law, I'll be hosting Oliver Bakavomo. We'll be discussing the constitutional right to demonstrate, the do's and don'ts. Fix the Country is the only group I have heard about in this country where they were organizing a demonstration and they produce rules. What you should do, what you can't do, what you can bring, what you cannot bring. But is it not curious that suddenly the police are directing all demonstrators to the Independence Square? Is that not a fetter on the right?
Say that again, Sam. And so this particular demo, look, the police must give demonstrators the right to go to the Bank of Ghana. They should create a buffer, maybe 100 meters from the bank or 50 meters. But it can be done. In 2014, when Occupy Ghana went to Flagstaff, what happened? There's security. So that Independence Square thing must stop. So it's good you are going to interview Oliver. You see now he's rising. It's good.